Hi guys, and welcome to the Polka Dot Farms YouTube channel. Ag Nerd here. Hope you and your family are doing well. Today we're going to talk about compost tea. And I've been using compost tea for about the past 7-8 years now. I've had a lot of good success with it. I'm going to tell you how we do it and tell you kind of what led me to start doing it. So here we go. So I kind of started, I put it on my hay meadows, and we were cutting hay one day, or actually baling hay, and I was looking at we pulled all the hay off the field, and I was looking at the soil, and it was beat down, it was dry, it was barren. And typically that's what you see after you cut and bale, because you cut it down short and all that's left is just a little nub and soil. And that sun just beats down on that soil, and all that heat and no organic matter, it doesn't hold the beneficial bacteria, the microbes, the microbia. And so I said, man, there's got to be a way to keep that soil alive, keep it flourishing. Fertilizers do a good job, but man, we need something for something that's going to benefit the soil, the life in it. And so I started looking into compost tea. I found a good recipe that I started using, and so that's why I started brewing my compost tea, because it puts those good beneficial bacteria, those microbes, back in the soil. And so that's what we do. I'll go show you how. Follow me. Okay, so this is our brewer. This is our homemade little brewer here. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. I'm going to talk about the compost that I use and talk about some of the air pump and all that kind of stuff. So compost tea does not have a strong NPK analysis. It's actually varies somewhere around 0.07 nitrogen, 0.02 phosphorus, and 0.05 potassium. So it does have a little bit of nutrient value when you apply it, but it's those microbes. Those microbes are the most important part. And so when you get your compost, you need to have good, vibrant compost that's broke down well, that's rich in bacteria, good bacteria. And so if it smells bad, you don't want any part of it. If it's all dried out, it's probably not going to be full of very many live bacteria. So I have a buddy that does has a tree service, and he does a lot of mulching of tree limbs and stumps and all that, and he has just a huge pile of it. And he sells me a whole trailer load. I have a 16-foot little bumper pull. I put wood sides on it. He sells me a whole trailer load for like 30 bucks. So there's good deals out there to be had. When I go out to his place, he doesn't sell me the fresh stuff. He sells me the pile that's been sitting there for a year and a half, 2 years. So it's broke down it's what they call black gold. And so it has a good nutrient value, and then it also has amazing bacteria in it. Then I use from my own compost pile, just where, Mrs. Ag Nerd throws something out or something. I have a pile that I use to break down other vegetable pieces and whatnot. I keep in a compost pile, so I get some of that. And then I use chicken litter, chicken manure. And so my chicken manure is not fresh. It's once again been cooking, breaking down for probably 12 to 18 months is typically what I try, a minimum of 12 months. Remember, you do not want to use fresh manure. Now, I know you can use fresh rabbit manure on your crops, on your vegetable garden, but it's not going to be as rich in the microbes as if it's been broke down for a little bit. So I use chicken litter because we have chickens, and there might be a little guinea poo in there too, I don't know. But anyhow, that's what we use. So we start out with a 55-gallon barrel. The 55-gallon barrel is it's a used barrel. I didn't buy it brand new. It's a food grade used barrel. And I emphasize you want to use something that's non-toxic, because bacteria is alive. This whole process is you want to create more life. This is to brew it. You're creating more bacteria so that when you apply it in your fields, you're delivering that goodness and bringing that soil back in life, bringing that symbiotic relationship between the bacteria and the plants and the soil and the nutrients. So anyhow, that's why I use the food grade barrel. Then I shoot air in it with this little apparatus here. This is a 1/2-inch pipe, It's got a T there. It's got a little fitting there that I use to put the air in, and I'll show you that here in a minute. Just a cap. I have it long like this because it hangs over the barrel. The bottom, which I'll show you here in a second, is suspended from the bottom probably about 2 inches, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And so it comes down and then it tees again, and then it makes this rectangle or loop or whatever you want to call it, you know, elbows and whatnot. None of this is glued. It holds together just fine. Like I said, I've been using this for several years. And then I drill holes every 3/4 to 1 inch all along the top, all the way around, and then on the bottom all the way around. And I don't know what size it is. I mean, probably it's under 1/4 inch, maybe 7/16 or something like that. Actually smaller than that, but regardless, that's kind of what we do here. So I use a little bag. This is a used bag. This is a paint strainer that I put the compost in, and then I wire it. I'm no country guy. I love baling wire or electric fence wire. I put my compost in. When I make my compost for my hay meadow, I have a 300-gallon tank. And so I do like a 5-to-1 ratio. I brew up a 55-gallon barrel of compost tea, brew it for a minimum of 24 to 48 hours, typically just 24 hours, what I do. And then I put it in my sprayer. I add 250 gallons of water, and then I just go to town. You know, I have a 300-gallon sprayer. I spray it 4 miles per hour at 40 PSI, and it sprays about 45 foot wide. My son's recording, maybe he can verify. Isn't it 40 foot wide that it sprays? I think so. He says yes. So I take and put the compost here, have the wire, I lower it. The pump is a 60 watt pump that I got from Amazon. I'm not sure of what the specific CFM or the amount of air that it pushes, but it's a 60 watt I bought for Amazon. I think several years ago it was probably 40, 50 bucks. I think now that inflation and everything's hit, it's probably 80 bucks now. I don't know. This is it right here. It's just a 110 plug. I set it to the side. It has this side that goes, that pulls air out of the atmosphere, and this other side that goes to my, that feeds this air disperser, whatever they call them. So you're looking, hey, what does he have on the end of his hose? So I'm an East Texas guy, and so we have what we call dirt daubers. I don't know if there's dirt daubers all across the world, but they sure are in East Texas, and they love to get little hoses like that. So this is a trick for you: is put a little something in the end of your stuff so it won't they won't build a nest. So that's kind of the general makeup, and let's load it up. Okay, so we're going to load up our paint strainer bag. You can also use cheesecloth, and they make special bags that you can get for compost brewers off of Amazon and some of these other sites. I use a paint strainer. If I'm making compost tea to spray on my hay meadow, I use about 5 pounds of each one of these that I load up when I brew. Once again, for this, making this video, we're not making this to spray it on the hay meadow. We're making this to spray on Christmas trees and berry patch and other garden pieces. So this, like I said, this is a little bit different than what I would normally do. But anyhow, this is the compost. Man, it's just black gold. It's just beautiful, and it's broken down. And I'm just going to take a shovel full, put it in my little bag here, and maybe I'll put 2 because it's so pretty. Cows in the background. This is my broken down chicken litter. I'm going to try to restrain from putting any big leafy pieces in there. And we'll just put that in there like that. I think this might end up being close to 15 pounds, we'll see. Okay. And so then this is from my compost pile that I keep in my garden area. And there might be a little bit of soil involved in this. And that's that. So you don't, it's gonna get a little, you know, soil, dirt, particulates are gonna get in there. Minimal, you want minimal. And so what I typically do is I take this, I loop it over. As I said, I love wire. I love baling wire, and I love electric fence wire. And I'm just gonna take it, wrap it up tight, because it's gonna be hanging for at least 24 hours. Then I drop it down, let it sink. I want it to be right above those air jets, those air manifold, whatever the correct terminology is. And then I'll just wrap it up so it's nice and secure. Get my air hose. Oh, I do secure this setup just because I've never had it get away or act like it wanted to get away. Just, I don't know, it just makes me feel better. Remove all my little pieces there, plug it in. So I plugged in the air hose, and I'm going to plug in the power. Okay, so this is the first part of adding good oxygen. Oxygen, it creates an aerobic type atmosphere, not an anaerobic. Anaerobic is the absence of oxygen. So we want to create all the oxygen that we can. And consequently, when you go to apply this, it's time sensitive. You have to get it put on your fields while this bacteria is alive, because you want this bacteria to end up in your soil. And so so when you do go to spray it, you know, do it pretty fast. While you're brewing it, typically what I do, if I'm doing a full batch, I'll do a full deal of this molasses, because this is a half batch, I'm going to do half a bottle. So you can obviously spray this on your fields so it'll hit your soil, but you can also spray it as a foliar application. And so when you put out compost tea, it's not you put it out and then you see a big blast of green, like when you put regular fertilizer out. You know, that nitrogen will green everything up just like the next day if it rained. Compost tea doesn't work that way. It builds that health in the soil, so when you do add fertilizers to it, it's going to, the soil, the plant is going to be able to intake it much better. So anyway, last step, we're going to add the molasses, and I'm just going to let it pour in there like so. It helps give the little microbes fuel, and they're hungry and they want to eat. So this gives them a little something to eat. They're hungies, and that's it. We're going to let this brew till tomorrow, and we're going to put it out. Like I said, it'll keep till for about 48 hours. Anyway, thank you for watching the channel. This is what I do on my little farm in East Texas. I'm not saying this is what you need to do on your farm or your house or whatever you may have. This just works for me. If you have any questions or concerns, put a comment down below. Ag Nerd